I'm Sam.
And I'm Ian.
And we're here in Madeira to talk about drones.
And how to fly them.
With us today, we've got 3 different drones. We've got the DJI Mini Pro 5, the Mavic 4 Pro, and the Avata. We're not going to fly the Avata because it is a little bit more risque, but talking about the Avata, that's a really, really cool camera if you like stuff that's super dynamic, whether you're getting maybe a POV of a bird flying through a valley or trying to get a bit more extreme with your drone flying, and you definitely need to be a more professional drone pilot for flying those because it can get a bit risky, especially if you're trying to fly it through doorways or windows and stuff like that. However, myself, I love flying the Mavic 4 Pro because it can get me all of those dynamic shots. It's got incredible image sensors within each of the 3 lenses and gives me great options for my videos and for my films. I'm not going to bore you with the 101 different rules and regulations of flying drones, but I am going to tell you a couple of tips and the main ones to look out for. Now in the UK, you do need a UK CAA approved license for drones over 100 grams and especially ones with cameras. Once you've got that license for private use, you're good to go. However, if you go to the more commercial ones, you have to get different levels of licenses, just like a driver's license where you do a test to make sure that you understand all the safety laws and everything as such. But to give you the basics and the little beats to make sure to look out for, first off, make sure that the area you're taking off from doesn't have any power lines or people or anything that can get in the way. Just like an obstacle really, just anything as such. Obviously I'm in quite an open area, but the one thing I need to look out for are the trees behind me. Now on top of that, you should also not be flying on or over private land without permission. But sometimes if you're just getting, say, a lighthouse like we've got here, as long as you're 50 meters away, you are in compliance with all the rules and regulations. In my hands is the Mavic 4 Pro, and this has a bit more weight than your normal conventional drone, say the Mini Pro 5 that we're also using today. The thing to always take into consideration is that weight. If you've got something in the sky, falling from the sky, and it hits somebody, you are going to be held responsible. So do be careful and stick to all the rules. Obviously, if you're filming for narrative and maybe capturing actors or something like that, just be sensible. And at the end of the day, it's all at your own risk. Now, when you turn on your controller and you log into the app, the map will also tell you about flight restrictions, where you can and where you can't fly. So do make sure to stick to those rules. Some places will have altitude limitations or distance limitations, so you can't fly too far away from yourself, and do not fly into them unless you've got legal permission from the air authority of the country you are in. And talking about limitations, the main and most obvious one, do not fly by airports. Just be sensible. So I obviously spoke about watching out for obstacles when you take off. Obviously, the main things you need to look out for is making sure you have flat land to take off from. For instance, I've got this lovely piece of gravel here that I'm going to be flying from momentarily. Along with that, you need to make sure that there's no people, animals, or anything as such in the area itself. And also make sure to check the drone. Check in case there's any grass within the rotors themselves, or any debris, or if the rotors are chipped, you might need to replace them. Obviously, make sure to watch out for restriction zones and everything as such. If you're flying next to an airport, you won't be able to take off. But if you're flying in open land and everything is safe to do so, you should be absolutely fine. Just check the restrictions within the app and on the map when you turn your drone on and get it connected. There's nothing else to say, but let's get flying. So to begin, we click Go Fly. Make sure if there are any warnings, hazards, or things to note before flying, they'll all come up here in the top left. Now we can see takeoff is permitted, so that means we're in a good area for flying. We bring both joysticks to the bottom corners on both the left and right side. To go up, we simply push the left stick up. Now the drone has started flying. Now to turn the drone, we move the joystick on the left side, left or right, and now I'll bring the drone moving left or right. To go backwards or forwards, and then left and right, but in more of a dramatic fashion and not just spinning. you go forwards on your right joystick, you go backwards on your right joystick, and you also go left to go left and right to go right. That is the simple way of flying your drone. Now, for instance, if I go spin around here, I'll click record on the screen so we can see now. You can probably see the image that I am filming, hopefully. So we're going to turn around. This is the car park. There's our rented car. And now we're going to go up and fly over these trees. We're going to go up first, just to be sensible, not flying through the trees. That would be a bit reckless. So we're going to go up, off we go. And we're watching the drone too, keeping an eye on it, making sure it goes above. And then now we hit that right joystick and out into the valley we go, getting a very nice little over the head aerial shot.
So we've just talked about what the drones can do almost as an extension of your normal camera, but there are things that these things can do that nothing else can do. You can't really position yourself in a way that a drone can, especially with the gimbal and its ability to move in pretty much any direction and capture vistas that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. So as an example, you can take the drone up in the air and spot shapes in the landscape that are geometric or otherwise. So for example, you can get into the middle of this valley and it gives you a vista going out that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Maybe, as I explained before, you'd be able to go to the other end of the valley using a telephoto, but it just simply would not give you that same look. So I think looking at drones as purely video-orientated pieces of kit, I think it's a bit short-sighted. I think seeing these as a valuable addition to your kit bag photographically, I think is a big boon for pretty much anyone out there doing lots of travel photography.
We've gone over photography use for drones, and now I'm going to talk to you about video. Now, these drones have amazing sensors with incredible image quality, and they've come tenfold from what was a decade ago. Using drones in video and film allow you to get an aspect and an angle that is normally very, very hard to replicate without spending a lot of money. For instance, back in the day, they used to use helicopters to get your simple establishing shots over valleys and all that sort of thing. And they now allow us to do that at a more budget-friendly rate. Now, in terms of flying drones for video, you can do anything from orbits to parallaxes to cool moves through valleys. And obviously, drones cover any sort of aspect of film, from high impact action to your slow, more nature-like, beautiful landscape shots. With us today, we've got 3 different drones. We've got the DJI Mini Pro 5, the Mavic Pro, and the Avata. We're not going to fly the Avata because it is a little bit more risque, but talking about the Avata, that's a really, really cool camera if you like stuff that's super dynamic, whether you're getting maybe a POV of a bird flying through a valley, or trying to get a bit more extreme with your drone flying, and you definitely need to be a more professional drone pilot for flying those, because they can get a bit risky, especially if you're trying to fly it through doorways or windows and stuff like that. However, myself, I love flying the Mavic Pro because it can get me all of those dynamic shots. It's got incredible image sensors within each of the 3 lenses and gives me great options for my videos and for my films. And also gives you flexibility where you didn't have it before. Now, most consumer drones usually weigh below 250 grams at 249 grams, which is the limit for drones to not require any sort of commercial license, and therefore mean that they can travel anywhere. But it's always good to check the rules and regulations within the country you are trying to fly in to make sure you are in compliance and not breaking any boundaries. Now, I hope this video has solved some questions or thoughts you had about flying drones. Please do remember to be responsible when flying. Make sure to use the UKCAA website and get your drone license if you're using anything obviously above 250 grams or 100 grams, depending on the drone. Now, in terms of video, make sure you get some beautiful shots and enjoy flying.
And I think for me, just following on from that, it's pretty much the exact same thing, because drone flying is all pretty much the same. The difference really is, are you shooting video or photo? But I hope that you've enjoyed this video in giving you an idea as to the power of drones and what you can do for photography as well.
Now, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.